I won $50 million in the lottery.
I scooped up my 3-year-old son and rushed to my husband's office to change our lives forever. But when I arrived, I heard the sounds of his infidelity, his voice and another woman's. All I could do was smile, knowing that smile was the first step toward their absolute downfall. My name is Alara. If you had asked me about my life before that day, I would have called it unremarkable, almost painfully ordinary. My husband, Marcus, ran a small construction firm. He was my first and only love. We'd been married for 5 years and had our 3-year-old son, Leo, who was the center of my universe. I'd left my career when Leo was born to be a full-time mom, managing our home and raising our son. Marcus took care of the money. He was always gone, leaving early and returning late. Weekends were filled with client meetings and closing deals. I pitied how hard he worked and never once complained. I just wanted to be his unwavering support. Marcus would sometimes get stressed and irritable, but I'd let it pass, telling myself all marriages have rough patches. I believed as long as we loved each other and focused on our family, we'd be fine. We had almost no savings because Marcus insisted the company was new and every dollar had to be reinvested. I believed him completely. That day, a Tuesday, the Atlanta sun was shining. As usual, after giving my son breakfast, I started cleaning the house. Leo was in the living room, busy with his building blocks. While dusting, I found the Mega Millions ticket I'd bought on a whim the day before, tucked into my grocery list. I had bought it at a gas station convenience store. I was feeling lucky for no particular reason and bought a single quick pick ticket. I had never believed in games of chance, but I'd felt a strange pull. Now, looking at it, I laughed. It was just a piece of paper. But as if guided by fate, I pulled out my phone and opened the official state lottery app just for fun. The results from the previous night's draw loaded. I started reading the numbers aloud. 4, 11, 22. My heart stopped. The ticket in my hand also had 4, 11, and 22. Shaking, I kept reading. 31, 44, and the mega ball, 8. Oh my God. I had matched all 5 numbers and the mega ball. $50 million. $50 million. I tried to count the zeros in my mind. My hands were trembling so badly I dropped my phone. I sank to the cold floor, my head spinning. I had actually won the lottery. The first emotion wasn't joy, but a deep shock that made me feel sick. I took a deep breath, and then a frantic euphoria bubbled up from my chest. I started to sob, deep and uncontrollable cries. My God, what impossible luck! I was rich. My son would have an amazing future. I could buy us a beautiful home, put him in the best school. And Marcus, my husband, he wouldn't have to kill himself working. The burden of the firm, the debts he mentioned, it would all be gone. He wouldn't come home stressed and angry anymore. We could finally be happy. I pictured Marcus's face when I told him. He would grab me, lift me, overcome with joy. My love for him. I could finally give him the freedom to achieve his dreams. I couldn't wait another second. I had to tell him immediately. I grabbed my purse, carefully tucking the ticket into the inner zippered pocket. I scooped up Leo, who looked at his mother in confusion. "Leo, sweetheart, let's go see Daddy. Mommy has the biggest surprise for him." The little boy laughed and wrapped his arms around my neck. I ran out the door and hailed a taxi. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I felt like the entire world was smiling at me. I, a simple stay-at-home mom, was now worth $50 million. My life, my family's life, a glorious new chapter was starting this very instant. I squeezed Leo's small hand and whispered, "Leo, everything has changed, my love." The taxi stopped in front of the small office building in Midtown where Marcus's firm was located. It was his dream, and I was so proud of it. I had been with him every step of the way, helping with the paperwork, staying up late to review his first contracts. I carried Leo in my arms, my heart pounding, and walked inside. The receptionist smiled. "Good morning, Alara. Are you here to see Mr. Jones? I nodded, trying to keep my voice steady, but I couldn't hide my excitement. Yes, I have some fantastic news for him. Is he in his office? Is he with anyone? The girl hesitated. It looks like it, but I didn't see anyone go in. Should I buzz him for you? No, don't bother, I said, waving my hand and smiling brightly. I want to surprise him. I'll just go back. I didn't want anyone interrupting this moment. I wanted to see Marcus's face with my own eyes when I told him we had $50 million. I tiptoed down the hall toward his executive office. The closer I got, the faster my heart beat. I was about to see the man I loved unconditionally and give him a gift beyond his wildest imagination. His office door was slightly ajar. Just as I was about to raise my hand to knock, a sound from inside chilled me to the bone. It was a stifled giggle, seductive and sweet. Oh, come on, baby, you don't really mean that. That voice was familiar. It wasn't a client. I froze. A terrible feeling washed over me. Leo, in my arms, made a small noise. I quickly covered his mouth and shushed him. And then I heard Marcus's voice, soft and persuasive. Why are you in such a hurry, my love? Just let me handle things with that naive fool I have at home. Once that's done, I'm filing for divorce immediately. My heart shattered. Naive fool. He was talking about me. Divorce. I stumbled back a step, trembling, hiding in the alcove by the wall. Leo stayed quiet, burying his head in my neck. The woman's voice came again, and this time I recognized her. It was Zara, the woman Marcus had introduced as his cousin's friend. I'd even liked her. "And your plan?" she asked. "Do you think it'll work? I heard your wife has some savings." Marcus laughed, a cold, disdainful laugh I had never heard. "She doesn't understand a thing about the real world. She lives locked up at home. She believes every word I say. I already checked on those savings. She told me she spent them all on some life insurance policy for Leo. Perfect. She cut off her own escape route." I heard the sound of rustling clothes, the noise of loud, wet kisses, and then obscene sounds, low moans that I understood. I was frozen. The $50 million lottery ticket in my pocket suddenly felt like it was burning through the fabric. Oh my God. The joy from just minutes ago evaporated, leaving only a bitter, disgusting truth. My husband was cheating on me, right here, in his office. And it wasn't just betrayal. They had a plan to discard me. I bit my lip so hard I tasted blood, trying to hold back the sob. I couldn't believe it. The man I shared my bed with called me a naive fool, a parasite. Tears streamed down my face, hot and silent. Leo tried to wipe away my tears with his tiny hand. My heart felt like it had been stabbed. What should I do? Burst in? Make a scene? Suddenly, a strange, icy calm washed over me. If I went in now, what would I get? I would lose everything. I'd be the hysterical wife, abandoned. I took a deep breath. I had to hear more. I needed to know exactly what they planned to do to me. Inside, the voices started again. This time it was Zara. "Marcus, what about that plan? The $50,000 fake debt for the company. Are you sure it's safe? I'm scared." Marcus reassured her. "Don't worry, my love. The accounting manager is my guy. The fake ledgers, the loss reports, the massive debt, it's all prepared. In court, I'll say the company is about to go bankrupt. Ilara doesn't understand finance. She'll panic and sign the divorce papers without a fight. She'll leave with nothing. All the company's real assets have already been moved to a subsidiary in my mother's name. She'll never find them." The floor gave out beneath me. What cruelty, what evil. "And Leo?" Zara asked. "He stays with his mother for now. It's too much work. Later, if I want him, I'll take him." That last sentence was a hammer blow to my heart. Even his own son was a tool, an object to be discarded and retrieved at will. My tears stopped. An icy coldness ran down my spine. The man in that room was not Marcus, the husband I loved. He was a monster. I looked at Leo, who had fallen asleep on my shoulder. My son. Forgive me. Mommy was so naive. But don't worry. I won't let anyone take you from me. I won't let anyone hurt us. I held him tighter. The $50 million ticket in my pocket was no longer a gift. It was my weapon. It was the lifeline for me and my son, and it would be my tool for revenge. I turned and walked away silently, like a ghost. I couldn't let them find me.
I had to get out of there. The receptionist saw me leaving, her expression surprised. "Alara, leaving already? You didn't even see Mr. Jones."
I managed to force a broken smile, my voice shaking. I just realized. I think I left the stove on at home. I have to go check. Please don't tell Marcus I was here. I want to come back tomorrow and surprise him properly. Oh, sure thing, Ilara. I rushed out of the building. I called another taxi, and as soon as I sat in the back seat, clutching my son, I let the sobs erupt. I cried for my stupidity. I cried for my dead love. I cried for the cruelty of the man I had considered my entire world. The car drove away, taking with it a woman who had just died and another who was being reborn from the ashes of betrayal. His plan was a $50,000 fake debt. I had $50 million. Seriously, Marcus, you chose this path. Now we're going to play, and I'll play with you until the very end. The taxi stopped on our familiar street. My whole body was shaking. I stumbled into the house with Leo in my arms. He was sleeping soundly, thank God. He didn't have to see his mother's pathetic state. I laid him gently in his bed. I ran to our bedroom, locked the door, and buried my face in a pillow, muffling the sound of my screams. I wept as I had never wept in my life. I cried for my fate, for 5 years of love that were nothing but a lie. The man I called my husband was in bed with another woman. Not only that, he called me a naive fool. He planned to kick me out with nothing, saddled with a $50,000 fake debt. He wanted to destroy me. Why? What had I done wrong? I stayed home, cared for our son, cooked, cleaned. I saved every penny. I didn't buy new clothes or makeup. It was all for him, for our son, for his struggling company. And all my sacrifice, in his eyes, was just a fool. Suddenly, I remembered the $50 million ticket and his $50,000 debt plan. The irony was sickening. If I hadn't won the lottery today, if I hadn't gone to his office, what would have happened? I'd get divorce papers in a few weeks. I'd be blindsided by the $50,000 debt. I would have kneeled, begged him, and ended up humiliated, losing my son and my future. The more I thought, the drier my tears became. They were replaced by a cold flame of rage. No, it was hatred. A hatred that settled deep in my bones. My love for Marcus died the instant I heard him say, "Later, if I want him, I'll take him." A father who talks about his son like an object is not a human being. He's a monster. And I had lived with a monster for 5 years. I was so stupid. I looked at myself in the mirror. A mess. Eyes swollen, face pale. Fool. Yes, maybe I was. I was a fool for believing in one true love. But from this moment on, that fool was dead. I had to live. For my son. Leo was my life. There was no way I would let a monster like Marcus take him. He wanted me empty-handed. I was going to teach him what it felt like to have nothing. He wanted to play with fake ledgers. I was going to play a much, much bigger game. I took a deep breath and washed my face with cold water. The icy water centered me. The pain was still there, but my mind had taken control. I was no longer the Alara of a few hours ago. I was a mother protecting her child, a betrayed woman preparing her revenge. Marcus, you started this war. Let's see what this naive fool is going to do to you and your mistress. I left the bathroom with a cold, determined gaze. The first, most urgent task was the lottery ticket.
The deadline to claim the prize was 90 days. I couldn't wait, but I also couldn't go myself. If $50 million
suddenly appeared in my account, Marcus would know. He was my husband. He was already investigating my finances. I needed someone of absolute trust, someone who would never betray me. I thought of my parents. My father was an honest, simple man, but too honest. He talked too much. He might boast or be easily tricked by Marcus. That left my mother. My mother, Sophia, was a woman who had worked hard her entire life. She was careful, discreet, and loved me unconditionally. My mother would never, ever do anything to harm me. Yes, only my mother could help me. I waited until night. Marcus came home late, looking annoyed. "What a hell of a day. Is dinner ready?" "Yes," I mumbled, pretending to be tired. "It's ready. Go shower and come eat." He glanced at me. He saw my swollen eyes. "What's wrong? You've been crying." My heart jumped, but I had my answer ready. I put my hand to my forehead. "I think I'm coming down with something. I've felt sick all afternoon. Do you think I could take Leo and go stay with my mom in Jacksonville for a few days? I need some fresh air and I miss her cooking." It was a test. If he stopped me, it meant he wanted to keep me under his thumb. If he agreed, it meant he was confident he had me fooled, and my absence would give him more freedom with his mistress. Marcus frowned for a second, then nodded. "Yeah, maybe. Go rest, get better. I've been too busy to take you guys out anyway." He pulled some bills from his wallet. "Here," he said, handing me about $100, "for your expenses." I took the money, my hand shaking, lowering my face to hide the contempt in my eyes. His charity. Me, who was about to have $36 million. It was humiliating, but I told myself, "Hold on, Alara, you have to hold on."
The next morning, I packed for myself and Leo. I only packed my oldest clothes. I took a Greyhound bus to my hometown. I was going home to take the first step of my plan. My mother, Sophia, was beaming when she saw us. "My daughter! Why didn't you call? Where's Marcus?" "I felt a little sick, Mom. I just came to spend a few days." I waited until night. It was just the two of us. I knelt and hugged my mother's legs, and this time the tears were real. I told her everything. "Mama, Marcus betrayed me. He has a mistress." My mother was in shock, dropping the spoon. "What? What are you saying? Marcus, such a good man." I shook my head. "He's not good, Mama. He's a monster. It's Zara. I caught them in the office. They're planning to divorce me. They want to stick me with a $50,000 debt so I leave with nothing and he can take Leo." My mother staggered. The fury of a mother exploded. "That scoundrel! That animal! I'm going to Atlanta. I'll tear that woman's eyes out and I'll deal with that worthless husband." "No, Mama," I stopped her. "If we cause a scene now, I lose everything. I lose Leo." I looked her directly in the eyes. "Mama, I am begging you. You have to help me. Only you can save my son and me." I took an object wrapped in paper from my pocket, the lottery ticket. I placed it in her hand. "Mama, I won $50 million in the Mega Millions." My mother's eyes widened. She looked at the ticket, then at me. She thought I was delirious. "Alara, my child, what are you saying?" "It's true, Mama. God didn't abandon me. I won $50 million, but I can't claim it. If Marcus finds out, he'll steal it all. Mama, you are the only person I trust. You have to go collect this money for me. Claim it. This is the money for me to start my life over. You have to keep this secret. Can you do that, Mama?" My mother, trembling, took the ticket. She recognized the $50 million figure. She looked at me, and her gaze shifted from shock to compassion, and finally to a terrifying determination. She was a woman, too. She understood her daughter's pain. She nodded firmly. "Yes, I will. Rest easy. This is between us and God. I won't let anyone steal a penny from you. Tell me what I need to do." I hugged her tightly. The two of us shared a monumental secret. I explained every step. She had to call the state lottery headquarters. She could request to remain anonymous. I had already bought a new burner phone, and the next day I took her to open a new bank account. The money, $36 million after taxes, would be safe in that account, waiting.
After 3 days, I returned to Atlanta with Leo. My mother went to the lottery headquarters. Everything went smoothly. The money was in her account. The weapon was loaded. It was time to return to the battlefield. I made sure to get home late. I wanted to look tired and fragile. When I opened the door, Marcus was on the couch. "You're back? Feeling better?" I picked up Leo, faking exhaustion. "Yes, a little." Leo missed home. He didn't sleep well. I set Leo down and he ran to his father. Marcus picked him up reluctantly, gave him a quick kiss, and put him back down. "Go play. Daddy's watching the game." I watched the scene, my heart aching. I quietly took our bags to the bedroom. Marcus followed me and closed the door. I tensed, but he just crossed his arms. "Here we go," I thought. "He's starting." "Ilara," he said in a grave voice, "sit down. We need to talk." I pretended to be confused and worried. "What's wrong, honey? Is it the company?" Marcus sighed deeply, a performance I'm sure he'd rehearsed. "It's bad, honey. I'm going to be honest. Our biggest clients just canceled. I'm about to go bankrupt." I widened my eyes, covering my mouth. My acting was surprisingly convincing. "Oh my God, how did this happen? What are we going to do?" Marcus stared at me. "I've been borrowing money. I have nowhere else to turn." "Ilara, what about those savings you had, the ones your parents gave you?" This was it, the $50,000 fake debt. He was going to ask for my savings. I raised my tear-filled eyes. "Oh, Marcus, I was going to tell you, I spent it." "What?" Marcus shouted. He grabbed my shoulders, shaking me hard. "What do you mean you spent it? That was thousands of dollars. I told you to save that for an emergency." The pain was nothing compared to my hatred. I cried, stammering my prepared story. It was for Leo. I was so worried about his future. I bought a life insurance policy, a college fund. I thought I was doing the right thing to secure our son's future. I'm sorry." I saw it, a flicker of relief in his eyes. He believed me. He believed that I, his stupid wife, had just cut off my own last escape route. That money couldn't be easily divided in a divorce. Everything was going exactly according to his plan. He released me inside, pretending to be devastated. "My God, Ilara, what have you done? That money was to save the company. Now we're really finished. We lost the money and the company is bankrupt." He was finishing his role as the dedicated, defeated husband. I just sat and cried. "I'm sorry, I didn't know. What do I do? What if I ask my parents for money?" "Forget it," Marcus snapped. "Your parents? They have nothing. It's done." He looked at me with disgust. "All you know is how to stay at home. Just leave it. I'll figure it out." With that, he grabbed his jacket and left. "I'm going out for some air. I can't breathe in here." The door slammed. He was, without a doubt, going to Zara to celebrate, to tell her the good news that he'd successfully fooled me. I stopped crying instantly. I wiped my tears, and a cold smile formed on my lips. "Marcus, you're a great actor, but you just discovered my talent for it too. You think you've cornered me? No, you just stepped right into my trap." In the days that followed, the atmosphere at home became heavy. I started cooking simpler, cheaper meals. I cut every expense. I wore my oldest clothes. I walked around looking sad and guilty. When I felt the time was right, I approached him. "Honey, I can't stand seeing you like this. I'm sorry about the money. Please, let me help. I can work at the office. I can clean, make coffee, anything. I don't need to be paid. I just want to help us get through this." He knew my presence wouldn't actually help, but the idea of me working for free appealed to his ego. Plus, he thought having me at the company was the perfect way to control me. He wanted me to see with my own eyes how bad the company was. He wanted to subject me to a double humiliation. After a long moment, he grunted. "Fine, if you want, but you do what I say, no complaints. And don't talk about our problems or the kid at work. Got it?" I nodded hastily. Yes, thank you, honey. I promise I won't disappoint you." "And Leo?" he asked. "I've already thought about that. I'll drop him at a daycare. I'll handle everything." Marcus nodded. "Okay, you start Monday. And don't dress like a slob. You'll embarrass me." He went to the bedroom, leaving me in the living room. I quickly wiped away my tears. They weren't tears of humiliation. They were tears of victory. "Marcus, you just opened the door to the tiger's cage yourself." That Monday, I dropped Leo off at a daycare. My heart broke seeing him cry, but I promised him, "Leo, be good. Mommy is going to work, and I promise I will give you the best life ever." I purposely chose my oldest clothes, a faded blouse and old black pants. I put my hair in a bun, no makeup. I was the perfect image of a naive fool. Entering the company, my heart pounded. The receptionist looked surprised to see me. I forced a smile. "Hi, I'm starting work here today, helping with cleaning and admin." The girl's eyes widened with pity. Marcus came out of his office, and he wasn't alone. Beside him was Zara. She wore a tight designer dress, flawless makeup. They looked like a power couple. And I, in the corner, looked like the maid. Marcus clapped his hands. "Staff, I want to introduce Ilara, my wife. As you know, the company is going through difficulties. Ilara has offered to come and help. She'll be handling small tasks, coffee, photocopies, cleaning." All eyes turned to me. Curiosity, pity, and contempt. I lowered my head. "Zara," Marcus said, "you are my executive assistant. Can you give Mrs. Jones her instructions? She can use that small desk in the archive corner." Zara smiled sideways, a smile of pure victory. She approached me. "Hello, Ilara. I'm Zara, the director's assistant. It's a pleasure to work with you. If you need anything, just ask me. Don't be shy." The way she emphasized director's assistant was pure provocation. I took a deep breath and took her soft hand with my rough one. "Thank you. I'll try my best." My new job began. I was nothing more than a servant. I arrived early to clean desks. I served coffee. "Ilara," Zara would call, "my coffee today needs to be a non-fat latte. I don't drink that drip garbage. Ilara, photocopy these, 20 copies. And hurry, Director Jones has a meeting." Marcus was even worse. He treated me like a stranger. He would frequently call Zara into his office and close the door. Sometimes when I went to bring water, I could hear their laughter inside. Once, Zara came out with her lipstick smudged and her blouse misaligned. She looked at me defiantly. I clenched my teeth and endured. Every humiliation was fuel. I had to endure. I worked in silence, cleaning, serving, but I wasn't just cleaning. My eyes were watching. My ears were listening. And my main target was the accounting department, run by the head bookkeeper, Mrs. Evans. The office was small. Mrs. Evans was about 50. She was the oldest employee. At first, I was confused. I remembered Marcus telling Zara, "The accounting manager is my guy. If Mrs. Evans was helping him falsify the books, I had no chance." But I had to get close to her. I used my poor, naive me tactic. Every morning, I brought her a cup of herbal tea. "I noticed you coughing, Mrs. Evans. This might help your throat." She looked at me in surprise, but accepted. "Thank you." At lunchtime, I brought a sad-looking Tupperware. I approached her. "Mrs. Evans, is the company really doing badly? I'm so worried. Marcus comes home so stressed. Sometimes he doesn't come home at all. I'm so scared. I don't know how Leo and I will survive." I wanted her to see me as a stupid, harmless, and worried wife. I started to notice the tension between Mrs. Evans and Zara. Zara frequently gave Mrs. Evans orders. "Mrs. Evans, why is this budget late? The director is waiting." Mrs. Evans clearly felt insulted by this young woman. She would turn red but swallow her pride. "It will be ready when it is ready." One day, after Zara left, I was cleaning nearby and heard Mrs. Evans mutter, "Thinks she owns the place. No respect." I knew it. My opportunity. Mrs. Evans was not Marcus's confidant. She worked for him, but she despised him and his mistress. A few days later, I stayed late. I told Marcus that Leo had a fever. Marcus nodded. He was also in a rush to leave, obviously with Zara. The office emptied. It was just Mrs. Evans and me. She looked at me with pity. Men. Their careers are always first. She was packing up when she sighed.
Oh, my computer is freezing again. I just need to restart it to finish this report. She restarted her computer, but instead of opening the loss report, it opened a different file, privateledger.xlsx. Mrs. Evans had forgotten to close it. My heart hammered. I looked toward the door. She was in the coffee area. Trembling, I grabbed her mouse and clicked on the file. It opened. My God, they weren't loss reports. It was a completely different world. Signed contracts, real values, and money transfers to an account named M Group LLC. I remembered Marcus's mother's maiden name was Miller. This was the subsidiary. The result wasn't a $50,000 loss. It was a net profit of over $2 million. I was shaking. I quickly looked for a USB drive in her drawer. Not there. Damn. I heard her footsteps. I quickly minimized the private ledger file and left the loss report on the screen, just in time. Mrs. Evans came back. What a pain. She sat down and reopened the loss file. She didn't know what I'd seen. Or did she? The file name, the forgetting to close it. I wasn't sure, but I knew one thing. I had found the treasure. I just needed to copy it. I memorized the file path. I would buy a USB drive tonight. That night, I stopped and bought a cheap 16-gigabyte USB drive. I hid it in my bra. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't count on luck again. I had to create my own opportunity. I needed a reason for her to step away. It had to be heavy. The next morning, I arrived with my plan. I continued my tasks, watching. At lunchtime, everyone started to leave. As usual, Mrs. Evans stayed. Zara, complaining of a headache, also stayed. I couldn't act with Zara there. I had to wait. An hour later, Marcus returned. He saw Zara slumped over. "What's wrong? You sick?" Zara pouted. "I think my blood sugar is low." Marcus, distressed, said, "Well, let's go get you some soup. I'll take you." He helped her up and glanced at me. "Ilara, watch the office. Take messages." They left. Now it was just Mrs. Evans and me, my opportunity. I quietly pushed my cleaning cart toward the main server closet. I looked at Mrs. Evans. She was eating, watching a show on her computer. I took a deep breath. I had a full large cup of black coffee on my cart. I tripped over the cart handle. The coffee flew, splashing, directly onto the large power strip that ran the main office server. Crackle, pop. A blue spark, a smell of burnt coffee. Immediately, the main circuit breaker tripped. The office went dark. Mrs. Evans's computer shut off. "My God, what was that?" she screamed. I ran over, my face pale. "Mrs. Evans, I tripped. The coffee, it sparked. It smells like burning." Mrs. Evans panicked. "Girl, I told you to be careful." "Where did it happen?" She turned on her phone's flashlight and rushed toward the smoking power strip. "Don't just stand there. Go flip the main breaker. It's by the entrance. Hurry," she ordered. This was it. She was occupied. The path from the main door to her desk was perfect. "Yes, I'm going." I ran to the electrical panel. I fumbled with it. "Mrs. Evans, there are so many. Which one?" "The big red one. Flip it up," she shouted. Click. The lights flickered on. "It's back on, Mrs. Evans. What a scare." "Come here and help me. This whole area is a mess. Bring a dry cloth." "Coming." I ran, straight to her desk. My heart was about to explode. The computer had power. Trembling, I hit the power button. While it booted, I listened. I could still hear Mrs. Evans grumbling in the coffee nook. What a disaster. Could have fried the whole system. The computer turned on. I inserted the USB drive. My hands were shaking so hard I missed the port twice. I opened My PC, D, Drive, Accounting, Internal, and there it was, private_ledger.xlsx. I held my breath and double-clicked. A dialog box appeared. Enter password. Darn! Darn! I froze. A password? What was it? I panicked. I looked at her desk. A yellow sticky note. Santi's B-Day, 8:15. It must be it. I typed 0815. Enter.
Incorrect password. I tried Santi 0815. Incorrect. Santi. Incorrect. Ilara, where is that cloth? Mrs. Evans shouted. She sounded like she was coming out. I was desperate. I looked at the desk again. The password must be something she'd never forget. I remembered the file name. Private. What was private to her? Ilara, why are you taking so long? Mrs. Evans came out of the coffee nook. I startled and yanked the USB drive out. I had failed. I grabbed a cleaning cloth. Here I am. I was looking for it. She glared at me.
What's wrong with you? Get out of the way. She walked to her desk, grumbling. With a short like that, I hope the computer survived. She sat down. She double-clicked the private_ledger.xlsx file. The password box appeared. I was standing behind her, pretending to clean. I held my breath. Mrs. Evans started typing. I strained my eyes. I saw her fingers move. She typed E. Jones 1978. Her name and her birth year. The file opened. My God, the password. Mrs. Evans checked a few numbers. Fortunately, no data loss. She closed the file. I stood paralyzed. I had the password, but I had lost the opportunity. I couldn't repeat the trick. I felt utterly defeated. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, but fate wasn't done with me. At the end of the afternoon, Zara started her exhaustion act again. She clutched her stomach, grimacing. Marcus rushed to her. Feeling sick again? Want to go to the doctor? I think if I go home and rest, I'll be fine. Can you take me? Marcus nodded and turned to accounting. Mrs. Evans, that quarterly report can wait until tomorrow. Zara and I have to leave. You take care of locking up. All right, Mr. Jones. Marcus and Zara left. The other employees filed out. Finally, Mrs. Evans packed her bag, locked her computer, and left. I waited 5 minutes. I looked at the security camera. I knew it didn't cover the accounting corner well. I went to her desk. I turned on the computer. I inserted the USB drive. I typed E. Jones 1978. Enter. The file opened. I right-clicked. Copy. I went to my USB drive. Paste. The progress bar appeared. 10%, 30%, 50%. The file was huge. 70%, 90%. Suddenly, I heard footsteps in the hallway. My God, who came back? I panicked. I wanted to pull the drive, but it was still copying. The footsteps got closer. They stopped at the office door. The sound of a key in the lock. Click. The door opened. It was Mrs. Evans. She had come back. I stood petrified next to the glowing screen, the progress bar blinking. Mrs. Evans looked at me, then at the computer screen, then at my USB drive. Her face changed color. What are you doing, Ilara? Her voice trembled. I was finished. She was going to scream. She was going to call Marcus. I stammered. The progress bar showed 100%. Copy complete. Mrs. Evans saw the message. She looked at me with a complex expression. Anger, fear, and something else. Desperate, I fell to my knees. Mrs. Evans, I beg you, please don't tell Marcus. She raised her hand, silencing me. She quickly went to the door, peered into the hall. No one. She firmly closed the door and locked it. She turned to me, still kneeling. Get up. Her voice was cold. What do you want that for? Tell me the truth. You already know, don't you, about him and Zara? I was in shock. You know? Mrs. Evans laughed bitterly. In this company, who doesn't know? Only you, the one he thinks is a fool. I came back because I forgot my phone, but it seems I came back at just the right time. Mrs. Evans, I started crying, I beg you. He's so cruel. He wants to divorce me. He's planning to leave me with a $50,000 debt. Him and Zara. I have to save myself. I have to save my son. Mrs. Evans looked at me for a long moment and sighed. I know. I've worked here a long time. I know what kind of man he is. He uses me to falsify the books, to evade taxes. I've turned a blind eye for the money, but I'm also a woman, and I'm disgusted by how he treats you." She bent down, pulled my USB drive from the computer, and handed it to me. "Take it. Pretend I didn't see anything. Pretend I never came back. Just go. Take that and don't come back here tomorrow. With this in your hand, you don't need to pretend to be the cleaning lady anymore. And don't you ever say I helped you. I don't want trouble. This just redeems some of my own guilt." It was her. She had purposely let me see the password that morning. I looked at her, my face flooded with tears. "Thank you. I'll be eternally grateful." "Don't thank me. Go, quickly." She pushed me. "And use that intelligently. Don't let him know you have this until the very last second." I nodded. I grabbed the USB drive, my salvation. I bowed to Mrs. Evans and ran out of that office. I ran, hugging my and my son's future to my chest. I had the evidence. Now, Marcus, wait for me. I didn't go back to the company. The next morning, I called Marcus using my weak, trembling voice. "Honey, I'm sorry. I can't work at the company anymore." Marcus shouted, "What's wrong now? You just started and you're quitting?" "No, it's... Yesterday, Zara. She insulted me. She called me a parasite, a burden. I felt so humiliated. I can't take it anymore. I'd rather just stay home." I knew he'd never ask Zara. Hearing that I was humiliated and withdrawing suited him perfectly. "Fine, do what you want." He hung up. So I returned to my role as a stay-at-home mom, but my mind was working. I made several copies of the USB drive. I sent one to my mother to keep in a safe deposit box. I hid another inside one of Leo's old teddy bears. I encrypted a third and stored it in an anonymous cloud service. The weapon was ready. I just had to wait. The opportunity came faster than I thought. Marcus started coming home less and less. He was openly moving out. Zara was pregnant. I knew he was in another apartment with his pregnant mistress. One day, I was feeding Leo when Marcus walked in, looking furious. But he didn't shout. He sat on the couch and stared at me. "Ilara, we need to talk." I jumped, feigning a startle. "Yes, is it important?" He went straight to the point. He must have thought I was so defeated he didn't need the bankrupt company charade anymore. "I want a divorce." Those 2 words, even though I'd prepared for them, they still hurt. "What are you saying?" I dropped the spoon. Marcus laughed disdainfully, that same cruel laugh. "You heard me. Divorce. I don't feel anything for you. Living with you is hell." I jumped up, my voice trembling. "Hell? How dare you? What about our son? What about Leo?" Marcus shrugged. "Don't worry, I'll still be his father, but I've already met someone else." He admitted it. "Who? Is it Zara?" I shouted. He smiled sideways. "You already knew." "Good. Yes, it's Zara. She's better than you." He paused, delivering the final blow. "And she's pregnant with my child." My God! Even knowing, hearing him say it, my blood boiled. You animal!" I screamed, lunging at him, scratching. "How could you? After everything I did for you, you get another woman pregnant?" Marcus pushed me off easily. I fell to the floor. He straightened his shirt, looking at me with disgust. "Are you done? This is why I got sick of you. A pathetic woman who only knows how to yell." "Okay," he said. "I'll be clear. 1, divorce. 2, this house is mortgaged. The bank is taking it. You get nothing. 3, my company really is bankrupt. I'm full of debt. If you want, we can split it." He was still using the debt story to scare me. I sat on the floor and cried. I cried for the 5 years I wasted on this monster. I don't want anything. I don't want debts. I just want... I raised my tearful eyes. My most important performance was beginning. I crawled on the floor and grabbed his legs, a humiliating act, but I had to play the part. "Honey, please, I beg you." "I accept it." "You have someone else, another child." "I accept it," I sobbed. Just don't leave me with debt. I can't pay it. And please, let me keep Leo. He's all I have. Please, Marcus." Marcus looked down at me. This was exactly what he wanted, a full surrender. "You'll sign the papers? No alimony, no assets?" "I agree," I nodded repeatedly. "Agreed to everything. Just let me have my son and no debt. I'll sign." "The papers are already prepared." He coldly threw a stack of papers on the table, the mutual consent divorce agreement. His signature was already on it. I looked at the clauses. No shared assets exist. No shared debts exist. The minor son, Leo, remains under the full custody of the mother. The father, Marcus, is exempt from paying alimony. It was even crueler than his original plan. He wrote exempt, freeing himself from all responsibility. "Sign." He threw a pen at me. Trembling, I took the pen. Tears fell on the paper, but this time they were tears of victory. He, with his arrogance, had just given me the greatest gift. He had just signed his own sentence. I signed, Ilara Jones. My signature was firm. Marcus snatched the paper, verified the signature, and smiled. "Great. Now get your things and the kid and get out. The bank is foreclosing this week. I don't want you here when they come." He lied without blinking. "I'll be at the family court the day after tomorrow, 9 a.m. Let's finalize this." With that, he turned and left. He didn't even look in the room where his son was playing. The door slammed. I remained on the floor. The crying stopped. I slowly stood up and dried my tears. A cold smile appeared. "Marcus, you've played your part. Now it's my turn." I walked into the room and hugged Leo. "Leo, my darling, we're free. Come on, my love, let's pack. We're going to a much better place." On the day of the hearing, it was pouring rain in Atlanta. I deliberately dressed in my oldest clothes, huddling by the courtroom door with Leo. Marcus and Zara arrived. He was driving a luxury car I'd never seen. He helped Zara out like she was a queen. She wore an elegant maternity dress and an arrogant expression. Her belly was already showing. They walked past me. Marcus didn't even look at his son. "Get in, let's get this over with." The hearing was fast. The judge looked at the file. "Ilara and Marcus Jones, you've thought this through?" "Yes," we both said. "The parties agree. Son Leo remains with the mother. Father Marcus is exempt from alimony. No shared assets or debts. Is this correct?" My heart sank hearing exempt from alimony, but I pretended to lower my head and mumbled, "Yes, Your Honor." "Correct, Your Honor," Marcus replied clearly. Zara, sitting in the back, smiled. "Laugh now, Zara. You'll be crying soon." The judge's gavel struck. Bam! The court approves the agreement. As of today, you are divorced. I left the courthouse with Leo. Marcus and Zara were ahead, whispering and laughing. He didn't even say goodbye to his son. I stood in the rain, hugging Leo. I was free, a 32-year-old woman betrayed with nothing but a child. This was the image Marcus wanted, but he didn't know. In the pocket of my old coat was a new burner phone, and in my mother's bank account, $36 million. I didn't go back to the dilapidated rental room I'd moved into. That was just part of the show. I got my son and called a luxury car service to the most exclusive area of the Atlanta suburbs. I had used my mother's money to buy a $1.5 million luxury condo in her name. I needed a secure place where Marcus would never think to look. Entering the new apartment was like entering another world. Floor-to-ceiling windows, luxury furnishings. Leo beamed. He shouted with joy and ran everywhere. I went to the bathroom and got in the shower. I scrubbed myself, washing away the last year. I cried, but this time they were tears of relief. That night, I ordered the best food. I bought a mountain of new toys for Leo. I threw away all my old clothes. I called my mother. "Mama, I'm divorced." "Thank goodness," she said, relieved. "You're free, my daughter. Now what?" I looked at the Atlanta skyline, glittering like diamonds. "Mama," I said, my voice cold and determined. "Now I begin. I'm not letting them get away with this. I'm going to make them pay." I opened my laptop. I opened the USB drive Mrs. Evans had accidentally given me. It was time to find one person.
a man who hated Marcus as much as I did. My revenge plan had officially begun. The first name on my list was David, the former partner Marcus had bragged about. Marcus had boasted that he and David co-founded the firm. David was the technical genius. Marcus handled sales. When the company became profitable, Marcus used accounting tricks to deceive David, forcing him out, empty-handed. It sounded familiar. Apparently, I wasn't his first victim. I couldn't look for David myself. I decided to use the money. I hired a private detective agency. My request was clear: find all information on David. 3 days later, I had a dossier. David, 42. After being cheated by Marcus, he went bankrupt. His wife left him. He now owned a small metal fabrication workshop. The workshop was failing and drowning in debt. He was cornered. Perfect. A man with nothing to lose is the most dangerous ally. I drove my new car to his workshop. I didn't dress luxuriously, just a clean, professional suit. The workshop was a dilapidated shed. A middle-aged man was fixing a machine. He looked defeated, but his eyes were sharp. "Excuse me, I'm looking for Mr. David." The man looked up. "That's me. Who's asking?" "I'm not here to buy. I want to talk to you about Marcus." The wrench in his hand clattered to the floor. He tensed, his eyes red with fury. "Marcus, who are you?" I looked him straight in the eye. "My name is Alara. I am Marcus's ex-wife." David was stunned, then laughed bitterly. "Ex-wife? Is this a joke? Did he send you to take this dump from me too? Tell him I'd rather die." "You're wrong." My voice turned cold. "I'm just like you. I was also just tricked by him, kicked out of my home with nothing. He stole everything and is now living with his pregnant mistress." David's rage slowly turned to shock. He saw the sincerity in my eyes. He saw the same hatred he felt. "Are you serious?" "I didn't come here to complain," I said. "I came to ask you, do you hate him? Do you want to take back everything he stole? Do you want to see him bankrupt, just like he made us?" In that dirty workshop, 2 victims stared at each other. I saw a flame ignite in David's eyes. He clenched his teeth. "Hate him? I want to tear him apart." "Good," I nodded. "Then, Mr. David, let's be partners." "Partners? How? You said you have no money. I'm about to close. What can 2 broke people do?" I smiled. "You're half right. You are about to close. On the other hand," I opened my briefcase. "I have nothing, except 2 things. First, evidence. Tax evasion, asset diversion, and all the real accounting for Marcus's company." David's eyes widened. He grabbed the file, his hands shaking. He understood it was genuine. "My God, how did you get this?" "You don't need to know how. And second, how much money do you need to destroy his company?" David looked at me like I was crazy. "This isn't a joke. His company is strong. He has contacts. It takes a lot of money." "How much?" I asked directly. "You know his weaknesses. Tell me." David took a deep breath. "To destroy him, we have to be faster, stronger. His merchandise is all cheap. The market wants high-quality Japanese tech now. If we can secure an exclusive distribution contract, we can steal all his big clients. For that, we need a new factory, a new line, and capital. At least $500,000, minimum." He thought I would faint. I remained silent. $500,000, that's fine." The workshop seemed to go silent. Are you in your right mind? $500,000? Where are you getting that?" "I won't waste time." I took out my phone and opened my mother's credit union app. I hid the total balance. "I have the money. Where it comes from, you don't need to know. You just need to know it's clean, and it's for our revenge." I continued, "I'm not giving you cash. We are creating a new company. You'll be the CEO. You will have 20% of the shares. I will be the silent investor with 80%. I only demand one thing. His company must go bankrupt." I handed him a contract. "This $500,000 will be transferred as soon as the company is established. Can you do it?" David read the contract. To a drowning man, I had just thrown a golden life raft. He raised his head, his eyes filling with tears of rage.
Elara, you trust me that much? I don't trust you, I said coldly. I trust your hatred. I believe a talented man,
Stabbed in the back by his best friend, will never forget that debt.
I am investing in your hatred. Don't disappoint me. David squeezed his hands. Agreed. I accept. I swear to you I will use this $500,000 and my own life to drag Marcus to hell. I will make him kneel. Great. Then choose a company name. David thought for a second. Apex Solutions. We will rise from the ashes and dominate. Apex, I murmured. Excellent. A pleasure to meet you, CEO David. I hope our partnership is successful. David squeezed my hand. The alliance was sealed. The game had begun. 6 months passed. My life was unrecognizable. Leo and I lived in our luxury condo. I brought my parents from Florida to live with us. I didn't tell them about the lottery. I told them I had used my savings to invest in a friend's new business. They took care of Leo, enrolling him in an international daycare. I was no longer the frumpy, naive Elara. I practiced yoga. I studied finance. I wanted my $36 million to grow. But a part of my mind was always on revenge. Just as I predicted, David was a phoenix. With $500,000, he worked like a machine. He paid his debts, rebuilt the factory, and flew to Japan. He signed the exclusive contract. Apex Solutions was born quietly, but it was a knife aimed directly at Marcus's company. Every week, David sent me reports. Week 1, Apex starts activity. Marcus hears the news and laughs. That bankrupt fool, David? Let's see how long he lasts. Month 1. Apex launches its first product. Superior quality, better design. Clients notice. Month 3. David wins his first major contract. The client was one of Marcus's biggest. Marcus starts to get irritated. Month 5. The storm. Apex launches a trade-in program. Clients can turn in their old products for a discount on new Apex products. It was a fatal blow. Marcus's main distributors turned on him. Orders were canceled. His company began to falter. He couldn't understand how David had so much money. He didn't know that the $500,000 was just the beginning. I was willing to invest millions. Month 6, David's report. Marcus has started borrowing from loan sharks. He has no liquidity. I read it with immense satisfaction. Why did he have no money? Because the $2 million he diverted was tied up in M Group LLC. It was frozen. And his real company, which for years had filed loss reports to evade taxes, how could he ask a bank for a loan with those reports? He fell into his own trap. I heard Zara had given birth to a son, but Marcus was in no mood to celebrate. He went home and broke things. He insulted Zara, calling her bad luck. Their love nest became a war zone. The fall was brutal. When Marcus couldn't pay his Chinese suppliers, they cut him off. When he couldn't pay salaries, employees left. When he couldn't pay the loan sharks, they came and broke everything. Marcus's company officially declared bankruptcy. He lost everything. The day I heard the news, I opened a bottle of champagne. Marcus, this is just the appetizer. Marcus disappeared. He, Zara, and their newborn son had to move to a cheap rental in a bad neighborhood. I thought he was finished, but I underestimated his audacity. He found me. He found me through my father. My father had been bragging at his new barber shop. My Elara is a boss now, lives in a luxury condo, drives a fancy car. The news reached Marcus. Elara? Rich? He became furious. He investigated. He spied on my father. He found my address. One afternoon, I was returning from daycare with Leo. The elevator opened in the lobby. Marcus was there. He was thin, unshaven, wearing dirty clothes, his eyes bloodshot. He looked at me, then at the luxurious lobby. "Elara, you!" he stammered. I took a deep breath. I had prepared for this. I calmly picked up Leo, protecting him. "What are you doing here?" "You!" he shouted. "Where did you get this money? You fooled me. You had money and hid it." I smiled. "Having or not having money, what does that matter to you? We're divorced. You abandoned us."
Marcus seemed to realize shouting wouldn't work. He changed tactics. He fell to his knees. "Alara, please," he crawled toward me. I backed away. He started crying, snot and tears running down his face. "I know I made a mistake. Forgive me. It was all Zara's fault. She seduced me. She bewitched me. I've already kicked her out. I kicked her and her son out." My God, he kicked out his own newborn son. "Come back to me, Alara. Let's start over. For Leo. Our son needs a father. You're rich now. Help me. I'm broke. Give me a chance. I swear I'll love you. I'll be your slave." He knelt, his head on the floor. The security guard started paying attention. I looked at the man who was once my husband. My heart was empty. Only disgust remained. "Marcus," I said, my voice icy. "Do you remember court? You signed the agreement. You declared you were exempt from alimony. You abandoned your son. Now that you're broke, you come back wanting a family?" "I was blind," he cried. "What I have today has nothing to do with you. This money is mine. You want to know where it came from?" I decided to tell him. The truth would kill him. "I won the lottery," I said clearly. "I won $50 million. The very same day I went to your office and heard you in bed with Zara." Marcus raised his head. His face went from pale to white to purple. He stood up, his mouth open. He understood. He understood exactly what he had thrown away.
After lunch, Turney lang lagt bak to the buckets here setter. He sopped the one with his temains canvasbacks they choose to be, and $14,000 is like you, he hissed, like a wounded snake. "Yes, you threw away $25 million that would have been yours. But don't worry, I used the money well. Apex Solutions, David's company, it was financed by me. $500,000. Surprised? You! He went mad, lunging at me. "Security!" I shouted. 2 guards ran over and grabbed Marcus, dragging him out. "This man is prohibited from entering this building." Marcus was dragged away, screaming. "You wretched woman! You fooled me! You set a trap! I'm going to sue you! The money was won during the marriage. You have to give me half. Give me back my money." I calmly turned my back and entered the elevator with my son. He was going to sue me. Good. I was waiting for that, too. The courtroom would be his final stage. A week later, I received the court summons. Marcus was suing me for $25 million. The allegation, I had won the lottery during our marriage but deliberately concealed it. The case became a scandal. Marcus, shameless, fed the press a tragic story. He was the victim of a manipulative woman. The press pointed fingers at me. My parents were worried. Only I was calm. I hadn't done anything wrong. On the day of the trial, reporters mobbed the courthouse. Marcus arrived, looking pitiful. He cried for the cameras. I just hope the court does me justice and returns a father to my son. I stepped out of my car, wearing an elegant white suit. I said nothing and walked into the courtroom. In the hearing, Marcus's lawyer was aggressive. He presented the lottery ticket date and our divorce date. This money was marital property. The defendant intentionally concealed it. This is a clear— I looked at the judge. "Your Honor, the accusation says I concealed assets. I find that ridiculous." I signaled my lawyer. "Your Honor, I ask permission to present my evidence. It's true, I won the lottery, but I concealed it because I discovered my husband was concealing assets. The person hiding money was not me. It was him." The room murmured. Marcus startled. "Do you have evidence?" the judge asked. "I do." The USB drive was connected. The large courtroom screen lit up. All of Marcus's real accounting appeared. The contracts, the income, and the money flowing to the shell company, M Group LLC. "Your Honor," I said firmly, "this is the real accounting. While he told me the company was bankrupt with a $50,000 debt, he actually had a net profit of over $2 million. That money was transferred to a shell company in his mother's name. That is asset concealment before a divorce." Marcus's lawyer jumped up. "Objection! This evidence was obtained illegally." I smiled coldly. Illegally? Or was it his head accountant, a person with a conscience, who provided it to me? I lied to protect Mrs. Evans.
Marcus's face was white. He was trembling, but I wasn't finished. Your Honor, he claims I concealed assets. Then I ask, what was his plan to create a fake $50,000 debt to force me into a divorce with nothing? I pressed play on an audio file. That naive fool I have at home. In court, I'll say the company is about to go bankrupt. She'll panic. She'll leave with nothing. The moans, the laughter of Marcus and Zara, it echoed through the courtroom. Marcus collapsed into his chair. He knew he had lost. The judge slammed his gavel. Does the plaintiff have anything else to say? Marcus couldn't speak. Your Honor, I delivered the final blow. Mr. Jones's asset concealment and deception are clear, but I have something else. I looked at Marcus. All the evidence of his company's tax evasion, totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars over 5 years. I held up a copy of the USB drive. Has already been sent in full to the IRS and the FBI's Economic Crimes Unit. What? Marcus screamed. At that exact moment, the courtroom doors opened. 2 inspectors walked in. We are from the Economic Crimes Unit. We ask Mr. Marcus Jones to accompany us regarding a qualified tax fraud offense. Handcuffs clicked onto Marcus's wrists. Right there, in front of the press. He stopped shouting. He just looked at me with pure, dead hatred. I turned my back and walked out. Checkmate. After that trial, Marcus's life ended. He was front-page news, the Baron of tax fraud, the man who deceived his wife and son. He was sentenced to a long prison term. A year later, I visited him in prison for the first and last time. Hello, Marcus. He looked at me through the glass. Did you come to laugh at me? No, I shook my head. I came to tell you why you lost. You lost because of your own greed and your own cruelty. And you lost because Apex, the company that destroyed you, was founded by me. I gave David $500,000 to start it. I am the owner. I used my money to destroy your career. He dropped the phone. His spirit died right there. I turned and left. Walking out the prison gates, the sun was shining. I took a deep breath. My life was beginning. Today, Leo is 5. He's an intelligent, happy child. Apex Solutions, under David's leadership, is a massive success. I have become a respected investor. I created a foundation that helps single mothers who are victims of financial and emotional abuse, just like I was. One afternoon, I took Leo to fly a kite. The wind was blowing and the kite flew high. Leo laughed and ran. My parents sat on a bench smiling. I looked at my son, my parents, the blue sky. My heart was at peace. Money has power, yes, but it only has true meaning when it helps us find justice and bring happiness to those we love. The nightmare was over. My life was one of wealth, freedom, and happiness. The happy ending I conquered for myself. Did you like the story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.